America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks. America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American... America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style.
From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Well, hi again, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. I'm Peter Schwartz. Phone number to call is 516-465-3990. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk a little football later on with an old friend of mine. Used to be a Mets broadcaster, and now he has gone on to other things, TV voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. But for our purposes here today, he is a member of the NFL on CBS crew, and he will be calling this Sunday's Jets-Saints game, along with Ross Tucker. Tom McCarthy, veteran sportscaster, is going to join us in about 20 minutes to talk about the Jet game, and maybe we'll sprinkle in some Phillies talk with him as well, kind of go behind enemy lines as far as we are concerned here in New York. But Tom McCarthy will join us on the show at around 1:20. We'll also have What's Hot at TicketBash.com, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll check out the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. And also, we love doing this here on the show. We love it when somebody involved with the show is celebrating a birthday. So we will have a happy birthday greeting a little bit later on in the program. In fact, that said person has brought cookies in. Let me just take this out. So this was brought in for the staff by the said person, who will reveal later whose birthday it is today, and we'll wish that person very well near the end of the show. As you can see, I'm all decked out in Knicks stuff here for the first segment at least. So thank my wife Cheryl for getting me this brand new Knicks t-shirt to celebrate the momentous occasion that took place on Tuesday night. And you remember on Tuesday's show, we had our good friend Anthony Donahue on to talk about the Knicks playing the Spurs in the NBA Cup championship game in Las Vegas on Tuesday night. And the Knicks, of course, won the game. They came from behind in the second half and beat the Spurs, and they win the NBA Cup. And it's been a hot topic of conversation on sports talk radio, on the news, and amongst friends and family. What does this actually mean? That the Knicks are the 2025 Emirates NBA Cup champions. And here's what it really means. It means very little. It really does. Now, to the players, it did mean something to get through the regular season games that were designated as NBA Cup games, to the quarterfinal win over Toronto, and then the semifinal win in Las Vegas over Orlando, and then the championship win over the Spurs. And how about the performance of Jalen Brunson, who was named the NBA Cup MVP, and also, you know, some of the role players like Clarkson and Kolek that helped out. You know, Karl Anthony Towns had to sit for a little while. He aggravated a calf injury, but he came back in the game. But a lot of the Knicks backups helped them come back in that game on Tuesday night. And it was as if they won the real NBA championship, because they had the confetti there and they had the big champion. A beautiful trophy, by the way. The NBA Cup is actually, it's probably nicer than some championship trophies you might see in other sports. But it was actually a really nice job that the NBA did in really pushing this along and getting some notoriety out of it. And here's the thing. When it first started 2 years ago, I thought it was silly. I mean, why do we need to fix something that I don't think is broken? Like, it's the regular season for a reason. You play 82 games to get to the playoffs, and obviously the playoffs are what's most important, and you try to win a championship. And in the NBA, the reason why they created this in-season tournament is this phenomenon known as load management, where now you've got these players, whether it's LeBron James or whatever, or just arbitrarily taking nights off. Sometimes they get nights off because they're hurt. And sometimes they call it load management. Like, they don't want these players playing too many games. Like, could you imagine Michael Jordan being told to rest because of load management? So they felt that they had to do something to fix the problem of load management, and they created this NBA Cup Michigas. You like that word, Tony?
I do.
Yeah. Tony Walker, my producer and the host of the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show, weekdays from 11 to 12:30. So they created this NBA Cup Michigas with the hopes that the players would play hard during the regular season, and this was an incentive for them. And here's the real incentive, and let's not make any bones about what the real incentive was for the Knicks to win that game the other night. $500,000 to each player on the team for winning. So when you saw the Knicks doing that soccer like celebration where they're jumping up and down and they're hoisting the trophy, I know they felt a sense of accomplishment for winning a championship. But in reality, they were very, very happy because they had an extra $500,000 to put in their bank account. That's really what is the reason for them being so happy. But now, the dust is settled from the victory. The Knicks are back in action tonight against the Pacers on the road. And tomorrow night, the Knicks are going to host the Philadelphia 76ers at the Garden in the first game back after winning the NBA Cup. And it's been this whole topic of conversation this week on Sports Talk Radio and everywhere else. How do you celebrate this? What do you do? It's not a real championship. The Knicks have not won an NBA title since 1973. So it's been a long time. It's 52 years. Now, keep in mind, 2 years ago when the NBA Cup started, the Lakers won the first one. And there's a report that the Lakers were forced by the NBA to put a banner up at what I guess it was still Staples Center at that point, whatever it is now, crypto.com arena. And it's not like the Lakers had all this room to fill in their arena. They got 1 million championships. So they didn't need the banner. But the NBA wanted to make sure that this was looked at as a real thing, so they forced the Lakers to put a banner up, as per the report. The Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Cup last year. They put a banner up. So there was this feeling that the NBA is requiring the teams who win the NBA Cup to put a banner up in their arena. Now, this is not a surprise here, but hats and T-shirts. Like you see every time somebody wins a championship, you get the hat, you get the shirt. So they had it. Of course, they're selling that stuff. I'm going to wait till I see it in Marshall's after the season for $5. I'm not going to pay $40 for it now. I'm going to wait till it's on the rack at Marshall's or TJ Maxx at the end of the season. But how do the Knicks celebrate this? Well, they are apparently going to celebrate it without a banner because reports came out yesterday that the Knicks have no intention of hanging a banner at Madison Square Garden on Friday night. And you know what? It is absolutely the right thing to do. This is not a championship worthy of a banner. And this is actually, it's a little tease because this is the subject of the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day that will come up later in the show. But in my opinion, the Knicks got this right. They're going to acknowledge it tomorrow night. We don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but there will be an acknowledgement before their home game tomorrow night where they will celebrate the NBA Cup championship. And then, the Knicks' intent here is to focus on June and winning the real one for the first time in what would be, because it'll be 26 already, 53 years. 1972-73 was the last time the Knicks won an NBA championship. And the only other New York team that I think has gone longer without one would be our beloved New York Jets, who won Super Bowl III, 1968 season. They won it in January of 69. So the Knicks are the second longest drought in New York sports by not winning a championship since 1973. And there's some people who are saying, hey, let's celebrate the accomplishment. They won a championship. They won the games on the schedule. They went to Las Vegas. They beat Orlando and San Antonio. Let's celebrate that. No. No. Look, I watched the game the other night. Truth be told, I watched the Islander game first. And when the Islander game was over, then I switched over to the Knick game. Because, as you know, Islanders first priority for me when it comes to, I'm doing the 6-7 thing again. When it comes to, conflicts, if the Islanders are on, and the Islanders started first, they started at 7, and the Knick game started at 8:30. So we joined the Knick game in progress in the second half. But I watched the game. I'm happy they won. I'm glad they did it. It was nice to see, a happy group of Knicks and everything like that. And I was emotionally invested in it because you want to see your team win. You don't invest your time. And this goes for any team that I root for, including the Jets, because I watch the game. Look, it's better that they lose, but I watch the games. I want them to win. We went to the game a few weeks ago. My family and I, we sat there. We wanted the team to win. Who wants to schlep to New Jersey for hours and see the team lose? Just like if you're watching the Knicks and you want to see them win, and I'm glad they won. Because now you could say, oh, they accomplished something together. Maybe it brings them together a little bit and it gets them moving along towards what their ultimate objective is, and that is to win the whole damn thing in June. And the path is there for them. The path is there in the Eastern Conference with key injuries for Boston and in Indiana. I mean, right now, the Knicks are the odds-on favorite to go to the NBA Finals. Now, they get there, they're probably, barring an upset, they're going to play Oklahoma City, who's off to a ridiculous start after winning the NBA championship last year. So it's not a given. And look, there's no given the Knicks are going to get to the finals either. But that is their focus. And I am glad that the Knicks took this stand against the NBA by saying, no, we're not hanging a banner. That is not an accomplishment worthy of hanging a banner in the world's most famous arena. Now, we could find out between now and tomorrow that Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, will call up Jim Dolan and say, look, the other two teams did it. You have to do it too. And I hope Jim Dolan hangs up the phone on him. Say, no, we're not doing this. We want to win the real one in June. And Jim Dolan, and listen, whether you love him or hate him, and I think a lot of people hate him, but I don't think he's the type of person that's going to worry about getting fined by the NBA. They're not putting a banner up. I mean, unless the NBA sends a FedEx delivery truck with a banner in there and says you have to put this up or you guys are going to forfeit games, I can't see that happening. So the Knicks are taking the right stand here by not putting the banner up. Do you know also, and this was hysterical, I heard this after the game, the NBA has a global following, and there were reporters from all over the world that were there in Las Vegas. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Las Vegas? I get it. It's a great place to go to visit and go on vacation. But they send a lot of these international reporters to these things, and there was somebody who asked Jalen Brunson in the post-game press conference. I meant to go pull the audio and send it to Tony to play on the air, but somebody actually asked Jalen Brunson, are you guys going to have a parade? A parade? For winning an in-season tournament? Listen, the banner is one thing, because you could put the banner up temporarily, whatever, and maybe take it down. And speaking of, and I thought about this also, in 1993, the Islanders went to the Wales Conference Final after dispatching of the Capitals and the Penguins in the Patrick Division playoffs. And that was the last year that division was called the Patrick Division. Then it went geographical after that. But when the way that the playoffs were set up back then, if you won the first two rounds against teams that are in your division, you were the Patrick Division playoff champions. But the NHL did not require you. In fact, I think it was against their mandate. You don't put a banner up for that. You put a banner up if you win the regular season Patrick Division title. And the Islanders have a bunch of them up in the rafters. They do. So they added, for 1 year only, in the 93-94 season, the Islanders raised a banner that said Patrick Division playoff champions. And it was a little different format than the other ones. It had an orange border around it. And it was only going to be up for the year. And at the end of the year, they gave it away. There's a season ticket holder, I think, that won the banner. And then they took it down. So in this case, you could even make the argument that the Knicks could put up a temporary banner. And I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow night. But the bottom line from this whole rant of mine is, great that the Knicks won. I'm happy they won. It should be enjoyed by Knick fans. I'm enjoying it. I loved watching it the other night, enjoyed the post-game interviews. But that's it. It's an in-season tournament. It's not the ultimate objective. The ultimate objective is to go through the playoffs and win the NBA championship and end the drought that has been there since 1973. But again, they'll acknowledge it tomorrow night. If you want to put up a temporary banner for the night, maybe, or till the All-Star break, I can even tolerate that. But there is no reason whatsoever to put up a permanent banner. I'll tell you this, they don't leave the St. John's banners up there all year round, which I don't understand. When St. John's plays a home game, they put the St. John's banners up, the Luke Hornacek banner and their championship banner. They put those up only when St. John's is playing. Then they take them down. St. John's is a tenant there. Why don't they keep it up? So I don't see how it's warranted that the Knicks raise a banner for the NBA Cup. I'm glad they won, but after tomorrow, there should be no mention of it. Go win a championship. Another team that's been waiting a long time to win a championship, my New York Jets. We're going to talk about their next game. The Jets are playing the Saints in New Orleans on Sunday. Calling that game on CBS will be Tom McCarthy, and he will join us here on the show when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,600 families, raising over $44 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $7,100 each. And your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 84 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. Phone number to call. We'll get back to those calls in just a moment. 516-465-3990, the number to call. But right now, we're going to turn our attention to the Jets and the Saints this coming Sunday in New Orleans. And I want to welcome to the show someone who I got to meet when he was a Mets radio broadcaster a number of years ago, and he has gone on now to so many other broadcasting gigs, including the NFL on CBS. He's also the TV voice of the Philadelphia Phillies, but he'll be calling the Jets-Saints game on CBS on Sunday. He is Tom McCarthy. Tom, it's Peter. How are you, and happy holidays?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. What did you do in life to deserve getting a Jet game 2 weeks in a row?
Well, I've always told people, and it is true, when we work for CBS or work for whoever, the fact that you get a chance to do an NFL game is one of the greatest things in the world. I mean, I'm so fortunate that I get to do baseball every single day. But then when I transition to football, the excitement, the energy of doing football, to me, it doesn't always matter. There's always storylines that you can find. And, I know my dad was a lifelong Jets fan, and I know it breaks his heart every time. Still, I mean, he's passed about 6 or 7 years ago, but it always broke his heart every year with the way they've played, and I think this would probably have broken his heart a little bit too.
No question about it. Before we talk about Sunday, let's go back to last Sunday and a total disaster by the Jets defense in Jacksonville, and it led to defensive coordinator Steve Wilks getting fired. You called the game. Did it look as bad from the broadcast booth as it did watching on TV, and for the people that were there in person? That was just a no-show by the Jets defense last Sunday.
There are two things. One thing is the Jags are really good. Like they have some really good balance offensively and defensively. And Trevor Lawrence is playing at a very high level. They've got really good receivers, and ETN is way better than he was his first 2 years in the NFL. But the lack of adjustments, I thought defensively, were kind of surprising as the game went on. And I think that's partly what led to Steve being let go. You know, you had 2 previous weeks, you had Bijan Robinson and then the Dolphins rushing for an overwhelming amount of yards. And in this game, Trevor Lawrence, found ETN passing more than he did anything else. Yeah. But they just threw these little 10-yard pass plays, and there was no answer for them. So it was disappointing that there just were no adjustments from a Jets standpoint.
No question about it. On the other side of the ball, Brady Cook made his first NFL start, and he's going to start this Sunday's game in New Orleans. From your perspective, and I know he threw some picks there, but there's some drops along the way as well. What did you see from Brady Cook? And I think it's the right move, letting him to continue starting, and he's going to get the start again. What did you see from him on Sunday? Because I thought there was some good there.
Yeah, it's the right move for him to start, honestly, Peter. And I did think the first half, I thought he was totally fine. I mean, I know he had the one pick in the first half, but I thought he was totally fine. I thought he commanded the offense. I thought he showed some really good decision-making processing. A couple of passes were not great passes. He anticipated probably a little bit too much on the pass in the end zone that turned into an interception. I thought he may have gotten a little tired as the game went on, and I thought that led to some of the fatigue on some of the passes in the second half. But I think having another week of games under his belt or practices under his belt is going to benefit him. He's got, I think, a much better defensive edge rushers that he's got to deal with this weekend. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a true test for him. But I was impressed with him. I was impressed with sitting and talking with him. I talked to him when he was in college, when he was at Missouri. Mm-hmm. And I was impressed with him there. But I was really impressed with his grasp of what was at stake, what this opportunity was like, and how appreciative he was that the Jets were giving him this opportunity.
Do you get the sense, Tom, from talking to them last week and this week and talking to head coach Aaron Glenn, do you get the sense that the Jets are still dialed in here in the last few weeks of the season? Because obviously, when the offseason comes, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be, multiple first-round draft picks. I mean, this team is going to look a lot different next year. But do you get the sense that the Jets are still locked in here, trying to win these games in the last few weeks?
Oh, I do, because I do think that even if they move on from some of these guys want to play for another team. So you have to make sure that what you're putting on film is appropriate. And I think also winning some games in December is a really big deal going into the offseason for any team, because you don't want to go in with such a bad taste in your mouth. So, yes, I do think these guys are still playing hard. I think they really like Aaron. I think they respect him, particularly from a defensive standpoint. I think they like his messaging. So I don't think anybody's taking their foot off the pedal. I just think that there's some spots where they're just overmatched right now.
No question about it. Tom McCarthy is my guest. He's going to call the Jets-Saints game on Sunday on CBS. Let's talk about the Saints team that the Jets are going to face on Sunday at the Superdome. And, if this game was earlier in the year, it might have been one of those games where you look at the schedule, you do the old Mike and the Mad Dog, win, loss, win, loss, win. Yeah. And it might have been a game that you said the Jets are going to win. But, the Saints have been playing some pretty good football in recent weeks. Talk to us a little bit about what kind of Saints team the Jets are going to see on Sunday.
Our crew had the Saints the first week of the season, and I believe they have found the right coach in Kellen Moore. I was impressed with him then. I knew him when he was with the Eagles the previous year, but I sensed at that point that they had the right guy. Now, Spencer Rattler was the starting quarterback at that point. He is not anymore. But I think winning these last 2 games, they're not looking for where our draft order is going to be. They want to put a win streak together as this year goes on. Now, they're going to be without a couple running backs, and they're going to have some running backs that people probably have never heard of. Plus, they're going to have Taysom Hill probably running the ball a little bit more in his sort of, wildcat sort of positioning. But I do believe that they feel like they have their quarterback. and I think that they're trying to ascend as the season goes on.
I have to tell you, when you're a Jet fan, you get to see a whole lot of different broadcast teams, because the last couple of years they got a lot of national games, but when you're bad, let me just say not as good, you get from all the networks, you get to see a variety of different broadcast teams.
No doubt.
I love your team. I think you guys are one of. Talk to me about your group and how much fun it is to go to work every week. I know you mentioned before how it doesn't matter how good or bad the teams are, that calling NFL games is still a really big deal. But what's it like coming to work with your crew every week?
They're awesome. I believe that currently the two in particular this weekend, because Tiffany Blackman and Amanda Balliona switch off as the year goes on. I think that Ross Tucker is a rising star in the football analyst business. I've known him since he was 18 years old. I did his college games at Princeton because I was the voice of Princeton for 6 years, and he was there, for all 4 of his years. We've done a lot of games together on Westwood One. Last year was the first year that we did NFL on TV together with Jay Feely as our third in the booth. This year's the first year that we're doing it just the two of us. I consider him a really close friend. Yeah. I'm really proud of the way he's advanced himself. He's fun, Peter. I mean,
yeah. He likes to talk. I know that because he's been on the show too, and he likes to talk.
Likes to talk, but he also knows how to break the game down in a way that everybody can understand it. He's very light. He'll laugh. I love making him laugh because sometimes we try not to tell each other what's going to happen to make each other laugh. But he's really good, and I think he's a rising star. Tiffany Blackman is our sideline reporter this weekend, and she and Amanda Balionis both are tremendous. The two of them. I'm really fortunate to have both of them. I've been very grateful to CBS for allowing me to do games for the last dozen or so years, and to have a lot of these partners who have gone from me and have ascended up the ladder. I like that. I like kind of getting them acclimated, getting them used to the NFL, getting them used to broadcasting, getting them used to the booth. Because for me, Peter, doing the Phillies games, I need a little latitude in September and October. And being on the number 6 crew for me really gives me that latitude because I don't have to work every week doing the NFL. As much as I would love to do it, I'm realistic to understand that, from a foundation standpoint, the Phillies in September and October are probably the most important thing that I do.
Well, as long as you brought up the Phillies, let's talk about that. And obviously, it's a topic of conversation here in New York with the Mets and the National League East. Tell me about your thoughts on the Phillies, where they are now in the middle of the offseason, and what could be the expectations for 2026 in a National League East that's going through some changes as well?
National League East is going through a lot of changes, and I don't think it's done either. I think that there's going to be more changes with Washington. There already has been. We lost one of our assistant GMs, who's now the general manager of the Nationals. They have a young manager who his family is a great family, Drew Butera. Obviously the Mets have lost Pete Alonso. They've lost Edwin Diaz. The Phillies did what I think they needed to do, is to bring Kyle Schwarber back for first and foremost. And now I think they need to bring JT Realmuto back. And I think they will, but I think that's obviously still up in the air. The addition of Adolis Garcia on a $10 million sort of flyer, which is weird that we're saying $10 million is a flyer at this point. I think it's a good pickup. I think it's good defensively. And I think he's probably due for somewhat of a rebound from last year with Texas. The Phillies are probably going to have Justin Crawford be the starting center fielder, Carl Crawford's son, who was a former first-round pick. And then I think left field will be a mixture of Brandon Marsh and another right-handed bat. It could be somebody that's already on the team, in Weston Wilson, somebody like that. I don't think they're done. I still think there may be some maneuvering that they'll have, from an edge standpoint, from the outside the margin standpoint. I know there was a report today from Jeff Passan about Matt Strahm. I don't know, Matt's been really good for the Phillies as a left-handed reliever over the last several years, and that he would be available. I don't know that at all. But, the fact that the bullpen was better as the year went on last year, I think that they're happy about that. The health of Zach Wheeler's huge, but he seems to be coming along great. So I think the Phillies will be the favorite going into this year, but I don't think that any of the other teams are done as far as their moves go.
Tom, I mentioned before, we met when you were one of the Met radio broadcasters back years ago. How much did you relish your time here in New York working for the Mets, and how it kind of set the stage for you to get the job with the Phillies and also with Westwood One in the NFL and CBS?
Yeah, I enjoyed my 2 years. I was with the Phillies for the first 5 years of my big league career. I came to the big leagues when I was 32. And then, I was doing 2 innings of radio, doing the pre and post game with the Phillies. And then the Mets offered me the full game with Howie. And I got to tell you, working with Howie and Chris Majkowski and Ed Coleman for those 2 years was incredible. Madge and how great he is. Eddie Coleman, how great he is too. And Howie still has become, still is one of my closest friends and confidants in this game. He and Gary Cohen both. So it was great. And then, I was appreciative of the folks at WFAN for allowing me to move back to the Phillies, because I was moving from radio to TV, and I never thought that I would do something like that because I was a radio guy.
Yeah.
But I do more TV now than I do radio, and I enjoy both. I enjoy the art of both of them, and I think both of them have been great. I try to tell my son to enjoy both of them because they're both just really different. But I think as a broadcaster, it's good when you are able to do both, both mediums.
You mentioned your son, Pat. He's been on the show, too, and we're blessed here in New York that we have a McCarthy on the air doing Met games again, and it's your son, Pat McCarthy. I think I can speak safely for you, and you can reiterate this, how proud you must be of him.
Oh, I'm beyond proud. I'm proud of all my kids. I mean, they're all doing great as far as their advanced work life goes. He's the oldest of 4. I have one that played professional baseball for 4 years and now works for Victus and designs gloves for them, which is pretty cool. And he's with me in the NFL booth. But Patrick's great. I am proud of him. I'm proud of the person that he is more than even the broadcaster that he is. I think my wife has really done a great job of leading by example with him. He's doing his first NFL game this weekend on radio, doing the Jags and the Broncos, which is really cool. He did the Sixers game a few weeks ago on television, so he's getting some really good opportunities, and he's taking advantage of those opportunities, which is tremendous.
No question about it, and it's been great to watch him grow with the Mets broadcast team over the last few years. Tom, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Best of luck going forward. Happy holidays to you and your family, and the Schwartz family will be dialed in on Sunday watching you and Ross and everybody on the broadcast from the Superdome on Sunday.
All right. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate it. Have a great New Year, too.
You too. Thank you so much. Tom McCarthy from the NFL on CBS and also the TV voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. I loved it when he was the Met radio broadcaster. Him and Howie did a wonderful job working together those 2 years, but he got a chance to go back to the Phillies, do television, and you can never stop somebody from an opportunity like that. And now he's calling NFL games too. So it's great to hear his voice again, and great to talk to him. And we thank him so much for coming on the show. We got some more to do here on the program before we say goodbye at 2:00. We've got the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We've got what's hot at ticketbash.com. What else other Michigan? Oh, the Coach's Collectibles item of the week is coming up. Oh, we have to say happy birthday to somebody. That's all coming up when we come back right after this.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,600 families, raising over $44 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $7,100 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 84 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. Phone number to call, 516-465-3990. Again, many thanks to Tom McCarthy from the NFL on CBS for joining us to talk about the Jets and the Saints on Sunday in New Orleans. He'll have the call, and bucket list thing for me is to call an NFL game, whether it's preseason, whatever it is. But the poor guy's got to call a Jet game 2 weeks in a row. I know, fiddle, little violin for him, but it's, gets to call NFL games, but he does get to do the Jets 2 weeks in a row, which I guess there should be an award for that if you're a network television broadcaster and you get the Jets 2 weeks in a row. But we thank him for coming on. Of course, we miss him in the Mets booth, but we do have a McCarthy. We still have Pat McCarthy. He's very, very good. He really is. And I love listening with him and Keith Radd and Howie Rose, and when Howie takes games off, it's Keith and Pat, and they do a wonderful job. And not that we want Howie Rose to leave anytime soon, but when he does, the Mets broadcast booth is in very, very good hands on the radio side with Pat McCarthy and Keith Radd. We'll have to get, when Howie does ultimately retire, they will have to get a third person in the booth there to be that swing person again. But for the moment, the Mets are loaded in that radio booth. Absolutely loaded. And again, we thank Tom for coming on the show. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. It's brought to us by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. We post a new question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. What should the Knicks do to celebrate the NBA Cup championship? I think you already heard what I said about it. I like the fact of just a little celebration, but here are the four choices. A permanent banner at Madison Square Garden, which is what the NBA wants. A temporary banner that you would put up maybe through the end of the night on Friday or even through the All-Star break if you want to make the NBA happy. A pregame mention on Friday, which is my choice. And nothing. It's a meaningless title. Tony, what do you think?
Meaningless.
Meaningless. Leanne Burgess, our social media coordinator, is here today with us.
What about that parade?
No, you want a parade?
I'm kidding. No.
No parade.
Nothing.
No, nothing. You want nothing. Nothing. I go. They'll acknowledge it Friday, and that to me is more than enough. I mean, the foreign reporter that asked for a parade. If looks could kill, if you would have seen the eyes of Jalen Brunson, wanted to stare a hole right through the guys, like the laser beams. Like, I don't think we're going to have a parade. He was very, very nice in his response, but the look at, what? Parade? Wow. It's time for What's Hot at ticketbash.com. Tomorrow, the NBA champion Knicks host the 76ers at the Garden. Also tomorrow, the Islanders host the Canucks at UBS Arena. On Saturday afternoon, the Rangers host the Flyers at the Garden. Sunday, the Giants host the Vikings at MetLife Stadium. Upcoming shows and concerts. Andrea Bocelli is at the Garden tonight. Friday night, Jerry Seinfeld begins a run at the Beacon Theater in New York City. The Jonas Brothers are at UBS Arena on December 21st. And WWE Monday Night Raw is coming to Barclays Center on January 5th. That's going to be a real hot ticket. It's the one-year Netflix anniversary show. We already know that it's going to be CM Punk and Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a tough ticket to get, but you can get your tickets. The best seats at the best prices, no service fees. So all those events I talked about at ticketbash.com. Time for the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. And the item of the week is this 8x10 signed photo of Terry Collins and Tom Hallion. And they did that signing this past Sunday, I think it was, at Mulcahy's. So you get that particular photo, 8x10 signed by both of them. And you were at the Gary, Keith, and Ron signing. We talked about that last week.
We did.
Where did you put, you didn't get an autograph. You just took a picture with them, right?
That is correct.
So they had different price points for photographs and
yes, and then you could split it up, for one guy or all three, stuff like that.
Have you framed the picture? Is it up in the?
It is
Walker
up in
household?
the man cave.
It's up in the man cave
next to the Mookie Wilson autograph and the Hojo autograph.
Very nice,
Absolutely.
very nice. You got a little sports memorabilia collection there in the house.
I do. I have. I think it's 19 Mookie Wilson autographs.
He's your favorite player
of all time.
What would it mean if we got him to come in studio here?
It would mean quite a lot. I did have the opportunity to interview him.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, let's see. Oh, he's coming up on the wall. Let's see what we got here.
So and it was it was an absolute blast.
So where was this? I want to put the picture up.
That was actually at Tom Falcone's office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had breakfast with Tom today.
I'm sorry.
Can't tell you why.
That's fine. You guys are wanted by the law. Tom's a good boy.
Yes, he is a good man.
He hooked me up with an interview with Mookie Wilson.
Wow, that's very nice.
And we talked about his appearance on Sesame Street.
I would love. Wow, that was impressive. How you just slapped that right up against the wall. I wish we had a camera on that. That was very impressive. It's like David Letterman throwing the cards through the glass.
Right,
and you hear the glass break. Tony Walker just flings things up against the wall and it sticks like something else. Wow, that was impressive.
Thank you.
I really wish we had a camera on that. That would have been awesome.
Mookie taught me that.
Mookie taught you that.
No.
I have to tell you that I was watching that game. By the way, I don't have plans to bring Mookie in.
Damn it!
No, I was just trying to get your. I didn't know you had already interviewed him because I never really knew what that was up there on the wall.
Okay.
But we could always try. We could ask Jay Horwitz and we can get him on the show.
I think we should.
But we're going to try to get Lee Mazzilli on.
Nice.
Because he's going into the Mets Hall of
That's
Fame.
right,
so
yes.
I was told after the holidays.
Nice.
I don't know if he still lives out here, but we at the very least we can get him on the phone after the holidays are over. But I will make the request. Does Mookie live in New York still?
He does not, but he's a Mets ambassador, so he is here quite often.
Quite often. So you know what? We'll see. We'll get Ticket Bash to splurge and get him a car if he's in town. We can bring him out here, and the Embassy Diner can bring some food over, and we can have a little Mookie celebration. I remember watching that game, and everyone knows I'm a Yankee fan, but I was rooting very hard for the Mets in the World Series against the Red Sox. But I was a student at Buffalo State College. And I lived on the 9th floor of Porter Hall, was my dorm, and there were a lot of Met fans.
I bet.
A lot of Met fans in that building. And when that ball went through Buckner's leg, I think even more than the next night when the Mets won the World Series. Well, actually, it was 2 nights later.
Yes, they had a rain
out.
delay.
It was a rain out. I have another story about that. But our dorm had, so it was the way that it was set up, most of the floors had guys on one end of the floor, girls on the other end, and then there was a suite, in like a lounge in the middle where there was a big TV. So every lounge that night, all 9 floors, were filled with people watching the game. You could feel the building shaking. Just like you could feel the upper deck at shake.
You sure could. Yep.
When the Mets won that game, when that ball went through Buckner's legs, we felt, I don't know if that's good or not.
Right.
You could feel the building shake.
Right.
And then there was this wild celebration. I'm like, here's Pete the Yankee fan just happy that the Red Sox lost. Like, okay, I'll go out and celebrate with all the Met fans and everything like that.
Yep.
But, so the next night, that was a Saturday night. Sunday night was supposed to be Game 7. It was rained out.
Right. Yes.
Do you remember what did NBC put on in place of the World Series when the game got rained out? This would be a great trivia question for your show.
That is a good show.
Great trivia question for your show, and you're more than welcome to steal it.
I just might. I
so
have
the
no idea.
So Mets Red Sox Game 7 on NBC, that Sunday night was rained out. By the way, that earlier that night I was in Hamilton, Ontario, watching the Knicks play the Pistons in an exhibition game. And then we came back home to Buffalo from across the border, and we already knew the game was rained out, and I was very excited with what NBC replaced that game with that night on Sunday night.
A movie or a sporting event?
It was a movie. It was a movie. It was my favorite movie.
The Natural?
The Natural.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, I have no idea.
I was first you're upset. You want to watch Game 7 of the World Series. It doesn't matter who. Unless it was two teams I really hated, I could care less. But obviously, you want to get back and watch Mets and Red Sox in the World Series. But The Natural was on.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
good choice.
And actually, then the next night, Game 7 of the World Series went up against the Giants and the Red Sox, the Giants and the Redskins, and everyone was like, "Oh, like people who have Giants tickets, they're not going to go because they want to watch the game." But that was a big game. That was for first place in the NFC East.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So, Giants Stadium is filled. Shea Stadium is filled. When the Mets won the World Series, if you flipped over and put the Giant game on, you heard this roar. At Giants Stadium.
Yeah, right.
And then, of course, the announcers on Monday Night Football are like, "Oh, that must be the Mets just won the World Series." But if you go find that on YouTube, you can watch Giants Redskins Monday Night Football as the Mets won the World Series.
That's cool.
And you'd hear this big roar go off in Giants Stadium.
Did you ever see Buckner on Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I see clips. I don't know if I saw the whole thing.
He totally redeems himself from
Really?
that Mookie Wilson play.
Really?
Absolutely.
May he rest in peace, Bill Buckner.
Well, true. Yeah, he was a tremendous player, which is forgotten.
Which is
about,
unfortunate.
but,
Unfortunate that happened to him. And they didn't put in a defensive replacement.
Right.
John McNamara was crucified.
Yes, he was.
For years and years and years. Why did they put in a defensive replacement?
Right.
So, but keep in mind also, and this is where I'll defend Bill Buckner because everybody makes a mistake once in a while. They still had Game 7 to win.
Right, and the Mets were
win.
losing 3-0 in that game.
Yes, they were. They were, and then Strawberry homered.
Right.
Right.
Ray Knight, I believe, hit one out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, not all Bill Buckner's fault.
That's right.
At all. That was fun. I don't know how we got off on that tangent. It's like talking about rainouts and my days in college. A whole potpourri of things here on the show today. Let me tell you first, before we say goodbye and wish somebody a happy birthday, next week, because of the Christmas, we will have shows next week on Monday and Tuesday, and we have great guests on both shows. On Monday, I'm going to be joined by Indoor Football League Commissioner Todd Tryon. The Indoor Football League is the longest-running indoor football league that's going. So it's great success. And, solid teams and solid ownership, and they are really, really building, have built a great product there with the Indoor Football League. So we're going to talk to Commissioner Todd Tryon on Monday. And then on Tuesday, this is going to be hysterical. And I'm going to have to budget more than a 20-minute segment, so I think we're going to have a short opening segment on Tuesday and a long middle segment for our guest, and then a short segment at the end, because I'm going to need more than 20 minutes with legendary WFAN host Steve Summers, who has a great new book out called Me Here, You There, which is his catchphrase from all the shows he's done on WFAN. And I was a phone caller on his show when he did the overnights, and then I worked as an intern and a board op at WFAN and got to board op his show one time when I was home from college. And then, when I came back to the Fan as a real on-air person in 2009, we became very, very friendly. I mean, I would do updates on his show. He would bust my balls about the Islanders. Oh, Peter, the Icelander fan. He just annoyed people, Islander fans, with his constant putting down. And they're on Short Island at the Mausoleum. The Icelanders are going to take on the Nashville Predators. So I'm going to tell the story because I don't want to waste too much time with it on Tuesday. But there's a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago, a few years ago, the Islanders were one win away from sweeping the Rangers in the season series. They had won every regular season game up until the last game of the season. I forgot if it was like March or April, whenever it was. But they were closing out the regular season series at Madison Square Garden. At that time, I'm working overnights at CBS Sports Radio full-time doing the updates. Before going to work that night, and I started at 11 o'clock at night and went all the way through the overnight, I went to cover the Islander-Ranger game at Madison Square Garden. And the Islanders kicked the crap out of the Rangers that night. It was just a beautiful thing to see. Like, Lundqvist just kept looking past it, behind him all night long. I don't remember what the exact score. I think it was like 5 or 6 to 2 or 3, whatever it was. So I'm like, I got to do something. So when I get in, Steve Summers is doing the night show. When I get in, I said, I got to do something. For all the times he's busted my balls, I have to do something to him when I get back. So I get from Madison Square Garden, I take the subway, I arrive at the fan in Lower Manhattan, and after I put my stuff down, I try to find a custodian. Because at that time at night, they're cleaning up, they're emptying out garbage bag cans and everything like that. So there was one that I noticed, always said hello to me, and making sure I can come into the studio where I was. I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a broom for a few minutes? And they said, what do you need a broom for? We just cleaned the whole thing. I'm like, I'll give it right back, or just tell me where to put it back. And they said, okay. So they give me the broom, and I go back in. And so at 345 Hudson, there's 3 studios in our suite where WFAN is. There's the Boomer and Geo room, and then there's the regular WFAN, and it was at the time CBS Sports Radio, now Infinity. In a couple of weeks it'll be Yiskadal Yiskadash for the Infinity Sports Network. But in any event, to those who are Jewish know what I'm talking about. So I wait for Steve Summers to get back from commercial. I could tell on-air light is on. I storm into the door. Oh, Peter Schwartz is here. And I'm like, here you go, Steve. Nice job by the Rangers tonight. And I used the broom and I swept the papers off of his table. He goes, oh, Peter Schwartz being funny because his Icelanders won tonight. I enjoyed that. I mean, I know I'm a child when it comes to that stuff, but I'm never going to grow up when it comes to doing stuff like that. But I really look, and I've been on the other side of that. Because I've come home from Yankee Met games when the Mets have swept the Yankees. I came home when my wife and I lived in an apartment, and I came down the steps to the apartment. I covered the Yankee Met game at Shea, and the Mets finished off a sweep, and I came. There were 2 doors into our apartment, one into the hallway and then into our apartment, and outside, in between the 2 doors, up against the door to our apartment, was a broomstick with my wife's Met hat on the top and my Yankee hat on the floor next to the broom. And at that point, I was so miserable on the drive home from Shea Stadium that it actually, for a moment, I thought it was funny. And I started laughing. I'm like, you know what? Good for my wife, because she got to enjoy a nice weekend where the Mets beat the crap out of the Yankees.
Once in a while, Met fans celebrate.
It did. And I really, I had to laugh. I had to laugh. Just like I get in the car today with Bradley. He had to drop me off at Islanders practice this morning, and he was, playing songs on his phone and everything. He's like, Dad, this one's for you. And he plays Dreamweaver because the Mets signed Jeff Weaver away from the Yankees. I'm like, okay, that's funny. I get it. It's all right. But I really enjoyed when I did that to Steve Summers. Before we say goodbye, I did mention we have to say happy birthday to someone, and a very, very happy birthday to our brand new social media coordinator, Leanne Burgess, who was in studio with us today. She brought the cookies in, so we wish her the happiest of birthdays, and hopefully Santa doesn't rip you off later next week. Do you actually... Put Leanne's microphone on for just a second. It's on.
It always would
be
like...
This is. Do you mind if we take 2 extra minutes here?
I think it will be all right.
Okay. This is a problem that we have with, like, Bradley has always felt, because my son Bradley's birthday is December 2nd, and obviously Hanukkah is any 8 days that follow that. There's always the concern in his mind that he's going to get screwed out of gifts because he's got his birthday and then he's got Hanukkah. So have you always felt the same way? Because your birthday is even closer to Christmas than Bradley's birthday is to Hanukkah sometimes.
Yeah, it's a week, so it'd always be like, here's your birthday Christmas gift. And
then you get it all in one.
Oh yeah, then my daughter Nadia is the 28th, so she kind of has that as well.
Wow. So don't let people get the best of you with that. And my wife Cheryl and I are cognizant of that. Make sure, listen, Bradley's got to get his birthday gift, a big nice gift for his birthday, and then you know what? You can't skimp on the Hanukkah gift. And we do it 8 nights, like the 8 nights. Bradley and Jared both get something each of the 8 nights. You can't skimp on that. So it's too bad. And I always got the short end of the stick in school because my birthday and my wife too were both July birthdays, and we would always get screwed out of the birthday party in class.
All of my kids do.
Yeah, summer birthdays?
Like right before Labor Day, my son, my daughter, the 28th in December, and then my middle daughter, Mia, she's June 30th. So, same.
They should do that the last day of school. They should make sure that they celebrate all the birthdays that are during the summer. Because you can't do it the first day of school because some of those kids might not be in that school the following after the summer is over. I don't know how I got off on that tangent again too, but that's what I do. But happy birthday and enjoy.
Thank you.
And may the Islanders win tomorrow night as a birthday present for you.
That'd be great.
Are you going to the game?
I wish I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a few. We got to go to the Pat LaFontaine on Saturday. That was fun. The other night watching the game.
You know my thoughts on that.
What's that?
You were
at a wedding.
We were going to escape the wedding.
Yeah. So you should have done the Irishman's escape.
There weren't
exit.
enough people. That's what my boyfriend wanted to do. Bill's like, if there were like 200 people, we could have just scooted out. But they're good friends too. So.
I got introduced. Tony, are you familiar with the Irishman's exit?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So I got introduced to that 2 years ago at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas by Vinny Tickets.
Yep.
We were at an event, and it was a long day. We were on Radio Row all day doing shows for Sports Bash, and I was exhausted. I literally could not keep my eyes open, and he was tired too because he was busy, selling tickets all day. And he said, and this was an event that Ticket Bash had sponsored, and he's like, we got to go. And I'm like, how do we get out of here? He goes, we're going to do the Irishman's exit, and we just walked out, and that's what you should. And that's what you should have done to go to Pat LaFontaine Day.
We were all ready. We had our Islanders gear in the car. We were checking the scores during the game. We had it on the table. We had the game playing. I sent you a picture.
No, but did you have tickets?
We were checking them out at the reception.
Oh,
we were like, we'll just buy them and run out. I hope.
You should.
Sorry, Mike. I hope you don't hear this, but we're
gonna
love
send
you.
We'll send them a copy of it. But happy birthday again.
Thank you
very
Peter.
much. Thanks for all your great work here on the show. And that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Thanks to our social media coordinator and the birthday girl, Leanne Burgess. And thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governors. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Coach's Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz, thanking you for watching and listening to the show. We are back on Monday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you Monday.